Welcome back to the Grandstand. It is race week, episode 5 of season 5. Puxan here, and we got F. Knowles. What's going on, man?
I didn't know what to do with my weekend.
Yeah. Arsenal.
Well, yeah, there was that. Actually, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But no, it was
Nice.
weird. Like, just so much Formula One for almost a month, and then just nothing.
But we're getting back,
That was an intentional pause.
and then nothingness in my life. Well, hey, did you? So we spoke about Bottas going to NASCAR after his F1 career. Did you see which F1 driver is going to make his debut this year in NASCAR? Ex F1 driver.
Yeah, Jenson Button.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I never expected him to go to NASCAR, but that's an interesting one there.
He lives in California now, full time.
That's
I don't
right.
know, dude. He's becoming Americanized. We're indoctrinating him into the red, white, and blue.
Could we see Button versus Danny Rick at any point in the U.S.?
Well, Button's not going to race IndyCar. Don't see that happening. And I also don't know if Danny Rick is ever going to go that route either. Because, there was a moment in Drive to Survive where I think Danny Rick would race NASCAR before he'd race open wheel in IndyCar.
Yeah, I think so too. But, we'll wait for that day. But in the meantime, we're going back to Saudi, which has given us some pretty good races in the past. And after round 1 of F1 2023, it's time for round 2. And let's see if Aston Martin has still got the performance. But before we get into all this, let's roll it.
Rolling.
A question for all of you except Romain Grosjean.
To whom it may concern, fuck you.
More ladies in the paddock? Yeah, more paddock access to some women. There's too many dudes.
I don't really have a lot to comment on that, except that he was being a pussy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
We're going back racing and we're going to Saudi. So Bahrain, I don't know. I mean, Bahrain kind of scared us a bit with that Red Bull domination. And, it seems like, we didn't have.
Hold on. Just sorry to interrupt you, but scared is a strong word.
Okay. Are you telling me you're not worried? Okay, you're a notorious Mercedes fan, right? After that race.
Right, so many strong words. Okay, sure.
You identify as a Merc fan. This is 2023.
Yeah, it's one of my pronouns.
It's one of your pronouns.
Yeah.
Hashtag blessed. Mercedes finished 50 seconds off the lead, and obviously the team Toto, was hurting a bit after that race. And it's been a packed 2 weeks since the first round. We had Toto. We had first Lewis calling out Merc, saying that he told the team what he needed. He knew what he was doing. He knows what he wants from a car, and they didn't do it. And what did Toto say? Oh, we're going to stick together, not point fingers. And also Merc came out with a statement, an open letter to its fans online. I think it was on Twitter, because there was a lot of abuse from fans around the world saying that Merc didn't get their shit together over the offseason. So, I want to ask you, man, what do you think of all this? There's already a lot of crazy chatter about Lewis going to Ferrari, of course. This always happens when Merc dips a bit. What are we thinking here?
I don't know. I'm one who one who kind of thinks it's hard right now. It's hard out here for a Merc fan. All right. It's hard out there for
It's
Pimp,
tough.
and it's hard out there for another Pimp, and his name is Toto Wolff.
Did you just call Lewis a pimp?
I said Toto, dude. I didn't call Lewis. No.
You said another pimp.
Yeah, a Toto Wolff.
It's hard times. All right. So what
Anyway,
what are we?
moving on from my Pimp comment. No, man. I think Lewis's comments. I think because they were, he wasn't the only one who was saying it. I mean, George also basically was like, in a different way, in a I think much more George Russell type of way, which tends to be like politer and much more British. They both are just like, what the fuck happened in the off season? And I think there tends to be a kind of an unwritten rule in motorsport and in sport in general. I think where if there's beef, if there's an issue, you keep that shit internal. Like, you don't talk about it publicly. But I gotta say, man, like, what the fuck did they do? If you've got both drivers basically saying like, we're gonna be nowhere this year, and they pretty much there were some changes to the this year's car from Mercedes. But it still looks a lot like last year's car. And you've got a works team in Aston Martin who is clearly showing that they've got better pace than the factory team. Like, what the fuck?
And not only does Aston Martin have the Merc engine, gearbox, and pretty much the whole back, the rear suspension,
Right.
they also rent the wind tunnel from Mercedes, so they're using the same wind tunnel. So it's basically you're giving another team, they're using the same engine, your engines, and your wind tunnel, and they're outperforming you. But for me, it's great that George is also coming out and say, we gotta work this out as a team. But Lewis didn't say that. Lewis said, "I told you what to do and you didn't do it. Now I'm going to poke the bear a little bit here. I'm going to poke the Knowles and see what you got there."
Don't call me a bear. Self-conscious, bro.
No, that was not meant. No shame in here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a hardcore Schumi fan, and you can say whatever you want about the guy. He might have not have been the most sportsmanlike driver during his time, but he never called out the team in public like that. First of all, what do you think about Lewis doing that in public, and why would Lewis do something like that?
I know where you're going with this, and there's going to be comparisons to like, what Lewis did or has done or hasn't done, and the difference between him and Schumi, that debate. To do that is, to me, so absurd. I think at this point, at first I was a little annoyed with Lewis. I was like, come on, man, like, keep that shit internal. But I think at some point there does need to be a little bit of, like, if you're frustrated, you're gonna call people out. And I think it Toto wasn't happy about it. I remember texting you. I was like, oh shit, Toto is going to be pissed.
Yeah.
But straight up, like, I think the issue here though is that you go through an entire off season. You go through an entire season like Merc did last season. You go through the off season thinking, all right, we're going to improve what we're bringing to the track. And, there's no porpoising, so that's a plus. But the car clearly seems to not be competitive the way that they want it to be. And so you have to wonder, what is going to get people to actually make the changes or hold them accountable to the extent that they're going to listen. So I think Lewis probably could have kept it to himself, or not to himself, but could have kept it, internal within the Mercedes team. But I also think there was a strategy play there, and he knows that it's one thing if he was like a Nikita Mazepin, which Mazepin.
Dear Lord, where are you going with this?
No, just stop. It'd be one thing if you're like a newbie, a rookie on the grid, and you're complaining about the car, and you basically have your daddy change the entire chassis for you, right? That's one thing. But he's a 7-time world champion, and at some point, you have to think like the engineers bottled this completely. And if they're not listening to the feedback from the drivers, where are they getting their feedback from? So I don't know. I'm mixed on it. I think it could have been kept internal, but I also I think it's a different strategy to hold people accountable for what what they haven't done. So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And you didn't really poke the bear there.
I do think that for me, from the outside, those are looking like signs of lack of cohesion within the team. And I'm going to wait a few more races, but we've already had all season last year. We had 23 or 22 races last year, and now Mercedes is back. No porpoising. You're right. The FIA changed the rules. We're 15 millimeters higher because that's what Merc was fighting for, but they're even further away. So like, not only did their concept last year not work, they're even further away from the top than they were a year ago. And it's looking like now, the cohesion is not there anymore. And from the outside, it's looking like the beginning of the fall for me. I'm thinking this could be the year where Merc really falls off, even the top 3. But I could be wrong, and maybe it is a different strategy by Lewis. Maybe he's poking the engineers, back in Brackley. And
I mean, I did say last week, like, or asked the question: is Mercedes a midfield team now?
Yeah.
It does make you wonder, but ultimately, like, we've been at Bahrain for the last month, so it's
right.
It's like it's a pretty unique track as far as it's it's compared to other tracks because of the way that the asphalt is.
You're very right on that point. A lot of teams have said, tire degradation there is very particular, a lot of tire management. As Newey said, we only have a sample of one, so let's chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, all right, everybody needs to chill out and just like...
But including Lewis then, right? Why would Lewis have to freak out like that as well after one
race? All right, fair. Yeah, I mean...
Something's up.
Something is up. Some fuckery is afoot. As cousin Greg from Secession says. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm waiting. You kind of have to trust Lewis in cases like this, just when he's giving feedback like that, because he's typically not a person who just says shit for the sake of saying it. Like another driver I know on the grid. Last name begins with ALO.
We'll get to him.
We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm not in panic mode. Maybe I should be. Maybe I don't. But
you're not. But it sure seems like Merc is starting.
Yeah, I hate when you have one race and everybody's starting to make assumptions about how a season's gonna go. Yeah, it drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah. I kind of, I think I kind of irked you there when I said, like, I was a bit afraid after Red Bull's domination, but I came across 2 numbers.
Oh, Stat Boy back in the house.
Stat Boy, he missed me. Max has won 15 out of the last 20 races, going back to last year. And this is a dig at my own team, right? So, I gave you some shit for Merc, but, Ferrari is not, hasn't had the best start of the year either, with another engine failure this year for Charles Leclerc in the first race. And Charles was asked by Canal Plus here, do you know how many races Max has won in the last 2 years? He's like, no, don't tell me. It was 25 races in the last 2 years. And then he asked, how many races has Ferrari won in the last 10 years? Knowles, what do you think? I repeat, Max has won 25 in 2 years, so that's 22 and 20, well, and 21, I guess, and this one race here.
I'm going 20.
23. So Max has won more races in the last 2 years than Ferrari has won in the last 10 years. So, yeah. Looks like we need to get our shit together in Italy as well. That being said,
Shocker.
we're going back. We're going back. We're racing this weekend, and can anyone please bring it to Red Bull this weekend? We have different asphalt. It's going to be a high speed track. Sorry, very dangerous track as well. We saw when drivers crash here, they go hard. What are we thinking? We got Ferrari could be back. You know, they're very good on the straights. Alonso, who you mentioned earlier, who's saying, you know, there's a lot to come from the basic car that Aston Martin's put out. Can we be more optimistic about this weekend?
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm done.
Yeah. Otherwise, just I'm gonna cancel my F1 TV subscription. This podcast will no longer exist. No, I think we can be more. I think it's gonna be closer. Max seems to think it's gonna be closer. I actually think this weekend we're gonna see. I'm curious to see where the Merc stands in things, but I do think we're gonna see more from Ferrari. I want to. I'm feeling a bit bullish on what Ferrari could do this weekend, and I don't think it's going to be a reliability issue. Let's fucking hope so.
Let's hope so,
I
man.
think what could fuck them up again is strategy. I'm still waiting to see Ferrari finish a race properly.
Well, you know what? After the whole reliability disaster last weekend, let's remind people that engine failure again. Keep, you know, rubbing salt in the wound. Ferrari did do well on strategy last weekend. I will say that I didn't see them make any mistakes, and I did see the new Vassar influence on, you know, saving tires for the race when they knew they weren't going to get pole or sacrificing pole maybe for the long runs or the race run. So yeah, strategy wise, I think we're good. It's just more reliability. And yeah, let's see what Ferrari, and you know what? I'm also feeling that Ferrari might bring it this weekend. And yeah, it's I think
you actually do. Yeah, I'm curious. So like, you think we're gonna see a little bit more from
I think so. Yeah,
from the boys in red?
I think so. You know, just like the F1 championship has not decided after one race, neither is the stand championship right now, which you're leading by 5 points, 24-19. See, like that transition there. I'm going to be bullish on Ferrari this weekend, and I'm going to go for it. I'm already going for the points. I'm going Charles on pole in Saudi. Charles is going to bring that straight line speed. It's going to be a great qualifying session for Ferrari, but I don't think he wins the race. I think that Max and Red Bull have too much of an advantage. I'm going to go for Leclerc finishing P2, P3 for Perez. I think Alonso finishes P4 and Sainz P5, with the Gromo going to Yuki Tsunoda.
Okay.
High potential for Gromo in this race, if I may add.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the potential for some contact. That I would, you know, this race, it's in some ways reminds me the Saudi circuit or at Jeddah. Kind of reminds me of a Formula E track, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the city. You know, we got a street track, and we got walls. We got a lot of crashes, a lot of safety cars. Yeah, that pretty much sums up Formula E.
A little bit.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I think for me, I'm going with. I think Charles takes pole too. It's hard to not go for Max right now, just from a pure. Not because I want him to win, but because you can't deny.
But you want to win the stand championship.
I know, I do.
Right. Yeah,
desperately, so desperately. It reeks of desperation. I'm going Max on Max wins a race. Sucks to say. Charles P2.
Okay, so no 1-2 for Red Bull. That's already
No, I think we're gonna see a little bit of a different race. I think Fernando gets another podium.
Ooh.
Checo P4, and the Smooth Operator P5.
Okay. So still no Merc in the top 5 for you, huh?
We're not there yet. And
Ooh.
I think Logan Sargent gets his first Chromo.
Oh, man. After his very good opening race in F1.
Yeah, but I feel like this Jeddah circuit, because it's so fast, it's like a mix of it's so fast, but also has a lot of tight corners, like a Baku or a Monaco.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, it kind of reminds me of a Baku a little bit.
It's the fastest street track, I think, on the calendar for sure.
So, I mean, we'll see. I feel bad, giving the Gromo to my own countrymen. Sorry, Logan, but better sooner than later. Let's put it that way. Just shake it out of your system, get it over with. Come back stronger.
Ooh, yeah.
Come back stronger.
I'm surprised you didn't go for your boy Piastri.
Yeah, I mean he was second, but
let's see if McLaren could turn up this weekend, because they had a struggle as well in the opening races. That midfield, I have no idea. If you ask me to predict that midfield, I'm pretty sure it's going to be very tight, and whoever's last race could be 6th or 7th fastest this race, and it's exciting.
Yeah. I think the midfield is actually harder to predict than anything else right now.
Mm-hmm. But who knows, man? Maybe Max can have a little mishap. Maybe Max. Max has touched the wall a few times in Saudi as well. Going back to 2021 when we had that epic battle with Lewis, in qualifying, and then before the whole brake testing during the race. Those were the good days.
We already raced there twice.
Yeah, we raced there end of 2021 when Lewis was putting on his charge for the comeback in the end of that year, and then a few months later at the beginning, it shifted to the beginning of 2022.
You're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I can't believe that. Is Vegas going to be faster than Jeddah though? I feel like it is.
It might be. You might be right, because Vegas probably wants to take that title away from Saudi.
I would assume so. They put out the promos this week for it, and damn, it looks kind of epic. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to Vegas.
I am too. Not gonna lie about it.
Who knows? Maybe by then Merc can actually have a competitive car. We have a few races to go for that. So Knowles, man, stay strong. Be positive.
I'm staying strong. I'm looking forward to this weekend. 1 weekend at a time, baby.
That's right. That's the attitude. Make sure to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at the Grandstand F1, and we'll be back next week for a new episode.